What is up, everyone? Today is April 18th, 2019, and thanks for joining me on this 365-day journey of video journaling. 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 Journaling is what I'm trying to say here. Um, so, the other day I talked about porn addiction recovery, and I thought about it today, and I want to sort of elaborate on my own personal uh, porn recovery addiction. No, porn addiction recovery. Sorry, it's been a long day. But just a little maybe flashback, or not even flashback. Just to add a little bit more context in my own history with porn. I started watching porn at a super young age, extremely young age, and it's always been uh, so instilled in me that I didn't know anything better, right? So, for instance, um, okay, so started watching porn when I was 12 years old, and gosh, it was so hard for me to talk to girls. Um, it was so hard for me to really relate to girls. And I just had a really hard time trying to just be myself. And I thought I had to be like a certain type of person, like machismo, you know, I mean, honestly, like I, I subscribe to the idea of, like, what a man should be, like through porn, when in my much more like formative years, right? And even still, like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, it was still like a big part of me, really, and had these like illusions in my head that how a man should be, right? Uh, so, so for me, at a young age, it was really hard for me to understand how to just be real, just be myself in front of girls. So then fast forward, I had my first girlfriend when I was about 17, and then that was the first time I've ever had sex, and man, that pretty much just opened up this like huge, massive door for me, and I just thought, wow, this is what it's like. This is awesome. I'm going to learn everything I can about like being the most awesomest like sex partner in the world, right? And it was kind of crazy, and through the years, I had this like sort of illusion, and I'm just laughing because I look back on it now, and it's been really some crazy times. Um, so anyhow, I just want to fast forward. I just want to fast forward to, my wife, right? And I learned so much from her, and she really tested me on my ideas of women. Uh, so so she is very she's very like, down to earth, and just not your typical like girl, right? I mean, she's so great. Anyhow, um, I for some reason, like like my illusions were completely disrupting our relationship, and it was really hard to uh, kind of throw my ideas on her, because she was strong. She was like, no, that's not me. I'm like, this is this is something that I'm not interested in. Although she was, I mean, we had conversations that we'd be able to be open with, but overall, she helped me understand uh, what a relationship could be, right? That's just part of it. Um, but I think my own personal porn addiction recovery was really because I just didn't feel good. I didn't feel good, and didn't know why I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good about watching porn, but I was addicted to it. Right? I mean, that's what addiction is. You don't feel good about something, but you still continue to do something, and it just becomes one of these like sort of like vicious cycles where you know it eventually becomes numb, or it just becomes numb. Period. Right. So that was a sort of cycle that I had to completely kick. It wasn't easy. It was a gradual, you know, sort of like journey to stop watching porn, right? And it took me a really long time. I mean, a really long time. I mean, it was like sort of like being an alcoholic. You stop drinking, and then you know, you go to AA, and then you come back to it, and you sort of just go back and forth, teeter totter, and eventually you just say, okay, I'm good with it, right? You come to terms with it, right? And you realize the truth behind where it actually was rooted from. So the first thing that I decided to do when I wanted to stop watching porn was I really needed to find out like where my root was, like what that essential element to this whole like cycle was going through. And it was I mean, aside from watching porn at a very like super young age, um, there was something else. There was something else deeply rooted in my psyche that I felt like I needed to continue on, right? And that was insecurity within myself. Bottom line, no joke, complete insecurity within myself. I mean, to the matter of of not just insecurity within myself, but not really having a foundation of a male figure. Yeah, I mean, of course, I you know, have a dad, and he, you know, and he's a really great man. But I don't think it was sort of like the perfect role model for myself to to be a man in a way. I don't even know if that makes sense, but only because of like communication issues. That's all it is. I'm not saying my dad's not a great person. He is a great person. I'm just saying in terms of like being able to communicate and have dialogue, right? You know, which is really important to me, and important. You know, this is something that I want to instill in my son, to be able to communicate through issues and get really supported and support him so that he can become a good person and be able to communicate with other people and really know himself, right? And it took me a long time to really find myself. I mean, it's crazy because you know, being lost isn't fun, but you don't realize that you're not lost. You know, you realize, oh, this is just part of me, but it's really just a story. So basically, I just had to really change my story of myself, right? So really just digging deep inside and just realizing my own insecurities, and then replacing those securities with positive reinforcements, right? So for me, it was you know, the insecurities about myself, not being able to talk to girls. I really just decided to shift that and just find who I was in those moments with girls. I mean, don't get me wrong. Even today, I still have those inklings of feeling uncomfortable talking to women. Sometimes I get intimidated. Sometimes I just don't know what to say, right? Because in the past it would be like, the objective was to have sex, right? That was the addict in me, is to have sex, right? And taking that away, what do you do now, right? So what I learned to do was to listen better, and to really just listen with my heart and just really be in the present with the other person, so that I can actually learn something from the other person. If if sex were to be a part of that, that's great. If not, that's great too, right? It's but the most important thing is not to be aggressive and force myself upon on the matter itself. So that's really just one of the first steps, is to really just understand my own securities, and to just really come to terms and just listen and be there. Listen, bottom line is that attraction is an attraction, right? When you're attracted, it's just going to happen naturally. You don't have to force anything. It's going to be real, right? It's not just a facade in your head thinking like, I remember this episode of Friends where I think it's Chandler and Joey, they had free porn for somehow, like, one of the cable channels they had free porn, and they were addicted to porn, and every scenario that they like encountered, was disappointing to them, because they were like, well, I'm at a bank, and why isn't the bank teller, like, coming over the I don't know, the teller station, and jumping over and having sex with them. It's just stupid shit like that. All these fucking crazy illusions, right? So it really is just to really come to terms with who you are as a person, and for me, it was my own insecurities, and just really being in the present, and just listening, and just having a really good dialogue with the other person. And it's hard. It's not easy, and I made a lot of mistakes, and I'm still making mistakes. I'm I'm with the love of my life, and I have a kid, and I'm still fucking making mistakes. So it doesn't go away. It's just there. It's always going to be there. It's just a matter of being aware of it, controlling it, and really, I think embracing it is a huge thing, because since it's already a part of myself, why would I want to shun myself away? I think it's much more productive to really embrace myself and to forgive myself, and so that I can grow from this lesson. This is a long video, and I hope this video made sense. Just please comment, this video didn't fucking make sense, or this video made so much sense, whatever. I'm going to try to elaborate. I'm going to try to elaborate on another video, if anything comes up. But that's basically the first step that I did, was just acknowledge myself, and realize my own securities, and just be in the moment with the other person. All right, well, that's it. Thanks a lot for watching. Let's win together, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. It's gonna be an awesome day tomorrow. Bam. See ya.